Welcome back, brewers and beer lovers, to Flying Wombat TV, the channel all about beer, banter, and bloody good times. So we are back for part 3 of our Man vs. Machine mini-series. So we've done the ChatGPT brew day, we've done the Man-Made or the Midcoast IPA brew day. I'll explain that one in a sec.
Man-Made Midcoast IPA.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
That's what we're going with. And now it's time for the all-important factor, the results. So we are going to see how the ChatGPT beer turned out, how our beer turned out, but most importantly, in a head-to-head, which one comes out on top, which one was actually the better beer. So who wins, man or machine? Anyway, let's get into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Cue montage. You have the blindfold?
Yeah, I do.
What are you gonna do to me?
I'm gonna do naughty things. So, unlike normal, we've come back after the montage and the beers are not yet poured.
Yes.
Because what we're actually gonna do is get...
What is...
come with me, Marshall.
Oh no, lucky we're not in the bedroom.
Mr. Gray will see you
not
now. We're going to do a blind taste testing, and this is the only blindfold I could find.
I can't see anything.
Good. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Because I brewed these beers, I know them far, far too well. I will know which beer is which, even if I do it blindfolded. But Odin won't know which beer is which. He will know by the color, but he won't know by the flavors and aromas, etc. So I'm gonna pour one of each in a little blind taste testing. He doesn't know which taps are on either, so it actually doesn't screw that up. We're gonna pour them out, and then before...
Can I work it out by sound?
I'm gonna pour them both.
I'm Daredevil.
All right, I'm gonna give you a proper pour in a second. I'll just pour 2 glasses.
That is definitely the sound of an IPA pouring.
By the way, yes, it is a new bar. So we will do a video on this bar. It will probably come out after this video. We'll do a full review on it. But this is the Kegerator X series by Kegland, and it is freaking awesome.
It looks sick, but I can't see it.
You can't see it. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later, but we will do a full review on it and on this versus like a regular Keyser and stuff. All that kind of good stuff coming soon. Anyway, here are your 2 beers. Grab it, grab it, grab it, grab it. Grab it.
Where?
Grab it. Okay, so that one is...
Don't say what it is.
It's an IPA.
Yeah, it smells like an IPA.
Now, that's what that one is. Now it's time
hoppy
for the other beer. Grab it, grab it, grab it. Oh, I spilled it!
Did I?
Yes.
You spilled it. Ooh, this one's a bit smoother.
All right, now I'm getting thirsty, so I'm gonna pour myself a glass.
All right, I think I know which one I'm going for.
Okay, let me know. You can take the blindfold off now. You know what? You said you'd know by the color, but the color actually turned out to be very, very similar. Geez, that's a lot of head. I'm a terrible bartender today. What do you think that one is?
Which one it is?
Which one do you think? Well, actually, before you try to guess which is which
Let me try this again.
Which do you think is better? Let's do it that way.
This one definitely has a smoother mouthfeel than this one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't remember which order I put them in your hands now.
This was the second one I drank.
That's the second one?
This is the first one.
Okay, yep.
They're actually quite similar. They're quite similar.
Well, they are both IPAs.
Yeah.
They are both very hop forward IPA. Yes, IPAs are hop forward, but they're hop forward in the sense that they had a kind of a similar hop schedule. A lot of the hops went in a whirlpool or like a hop steeping step. So it gives that kind of similar resinous, super oily punch of the hop oils rather than like a super bitter punch if you threw them all in 15 minutes before the end of boil.
It's not too hoppy, like the bitterness is not fucking overpowering.
This one's the second one?
This is the second
Okay.
one. This has I think this one has a better mouthfeel than this one.
Which one do you prefer out of the two? So mouthfeel, the second one's winning. which is winning in terms of the actual flavor?
Taste, I think they're very similar. Like I can't tell which one's better taste-wise. But
Just realized I should have cleaned this glass.
color-wise, they look exactly the same actually.
They actually do look crazy similar.
Wow. That is like...
I've overgassed the keg. Oops. Anyway. I'm going to taste them now. I just realized I haven't tasted them. Let's get into it.
This one has a smoother mouthfeel.
It does. It is good body, silkier, little more malty.
Yeah.
All right, this one. They are very similar.
Yeah.
But
it's very hard to distinguish.
you know what? So this one is the Man-Made beer. This one's the ChatGPT beer. Did you say which one you preferred before I told you? You prefer the ChatGPT beer.
Dude.
Oh.
It's got a better mouthfeel in my opinion.
Oh, that hurts.
He's losing. Which one do you prefer? Try be unbiased. This is so similar in taste. The only thing I can actually distinguish between the two is the mouthfeel. And I'm not a expert beer taster as well.
They're very similar, but the ChatGPT beer has a significantly better body.
Yeah.
The Man-Made, my beer, the Midcoast, the body is lacking in comparison. Like on its own, if I didn't taste it against this, I would think it was fine. But having tasted it against the ChatGPT beer, that body really does help to balance the hoppiness. The hoppiness is coming through a lot stronger.
It is.
On the Man-Made. So the Man-Made one, the Midcoast.
I don't mind. I don't necessarily think it's worse. It is a different style.
But you taste more of that dry hop.
Yeah.
You taste the dry hop much more than you taste the dry hop in the ChatGPT IPA. So the ChatGPT one, it feels more like a traditional West Coast, if that makes sense. It's kind of got that bitterness that the old school, original IPAs had back in the early noughties sort of thing, when IPAs were really, really just there was one type of IPA and it was IPA. This one doesn't have that same bitterness.
I think I might be changing my opinion. I don't know now. I do like the body in this though. I think the body is definitely, I think in my opinion, slightly better. But the hoppiness in this,
the body is better. This hop schedule had hops at the end of boil at 10 minutes and at 5 minutes, and then it also had a hop steep. So I think hops per liter, my beer, the Midcoast, had more hops per liter, and those hops were also Lupo Max hops. So by the way, the hops that were in the Midcoast, sorry, I should have said this before, were Sabro, Galaxy, Mosaic, and Lotus. The hops that were in the ChatGPT beer were Chinook, Simcoe, and Citra. So the ChatGPT probably has more of a classic American style hop schedule. My one's got, Lotus is a bit of an unusual hop. It's not super, super popular, not super common, I should say. Galaxy is in a lot of beers, that's pretty common. And then Mosaic was only used in the dry hopping step because I wanted to try and get a little bit of that blueberry kind of thing that Mosaic can sometimes do. Yeah, sorry, man. I think I've overcarbonated that keg. I think I've stuffed that up a little bit. But yeah, I think the Man-Made one, I don't know, it's kind of growing on me. The other thing is these beers are still very fresh. So when you're talking about IPAs, well, we're talking about beer. Yeah, we're talking about beers in general. Yeah, with beers in general, fresh is best. With IPAs, yes, fresh is best, but after a certain amount of time, it kind of needs 2 weeks in the keg to settle down, especially when there's a lot of hops thrown at it. Oh, and I was mentioning Lupo Max hops before, which are basically chemically engineered hops, biochemically engineered to have a much larger hop oil weight and much more alpha acids. Benefit being you can use less of them to get the same hoppy punch, which means you get less vegetal matter inside the beer when you're brewing. Helps to reduce the chance of off flavors, like that green, grassy, weird kind of off flavor, as well as you have a set amount of oil in there that is always consistent. So for commercial breweries, super useful because they know definitively every single time they use it and they use that much, it will have the same result. So the Midcoast, by the way, is not a real style. I say Midcoast because it's my tongue-in-cheek way of saying something that's halfway between a West Coast and an East Coast. It's not a real style. I'm just making it up. But because it sits kind of outside of both categories, because the grain bill leans more towards a West Coast. It doesn't have any oats, doesn't have any wheat, which is what you kind of need for a NEPA. But the way that the hops are thrown in are very NEPA-esque. There was a huge Whirlpool edition, and there was a lot of dry hop additions, and very low amount of hops thrown in at the start of the boil for bitterness. So the bitterness is very low for a West Coast IPA. It's outside of the bitterness for a West Coast IPA. So it's kind of sitting with the hop style of a NEPA with the grain bill of a West Coast. So it's kind of mid-coast, somewhere straight down the middle of the two. So I actually think though that my one needs more bitterness. I think it needs a little more of that start of the boil bitterness to just, I don't know, because it's 7.2%, my one. Oh, and by the way, this one came out to, I think it was 8.3%.
That's 8.3.
It's 8.3 and it does not taste like it.
God, that's gonna put me on my ass.
Yeah.
Tonight.
And I think the reason that you don't taste it is because there was Munich malt in there. There was light Munich malt. There was crystal malt. There was a lot of crystal malt, a lot of light Munich malt, and there was carafoam or carapils, which is for that head retention and that body and that silkiness, which is what you really like.
Yeah.
So, and I've never used carapils until I used in the ChatGPT beer. I will 100% be using it now.
This has been a great experiment though, because this is what ChatGPT does. It extracts the best beer recipes online, and then it gives you generates one for you.
Yeah.
So who knows what this actual recipe, whoever created this one.
Well, it's the machine. The machine made it. It's just composing it from the most popular recipes of what I asked it to do at that moment in time.
Yeah.
And there was comments on various forums where people were like, "Oh, why are you going to do that? What a dumb experiment! You know, it's just trolling through the internet to find, put together a recipe. Why would it even be a good recipe? It's a good recipe. So to all of you that were hating on it, it's a good recipe.
It's crazy how actually.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised.
And my answer to the people that were complaining about this kind of being a bit of an attention grab thing, well, yeah, sure, we want to stay on current trends. That's the whole fun of doing a channel. But the other part was, it was a really interesting experiment because it was a style, it was a way of brewing this style that I don't do myself. As a brewer, like as an artist, you have a style. As a songwriter, you have a style. As a brewer, you also have a style. Yeah. There's a way that I like to use my ingredients.
You had some hops in this
that I've never used.
That you've never used.
Yeah, I've never used.
You've gone out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I've gone out of my comfort zone, and I use grains that I haven't used, and I use the hops in ways that I don't normally use. For example, 50 grams of Chinook at the start of a boil. I even said it on the brew day. I thought it was outrageous. Like I thought there was way too much hops. And it would come out and be just a ridiculously bitter beer, like lip puckeringly bitter. It's not. It's balanced. I can't believe it's balanced, but it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is a well-balanced beer.
Great experiment, because I would never have made a beer like that without doing this type of video.
Are we
eyes, well worth
Are we gonna judge the winner now? Do you? Surely. I know it hurts, man.
I actually think the chat wins.
I think it would.
I actually think it wins.
It is a well-rounded beer.
I think
it is a very well-rounded.
And I think part of the problem is that the ChatGPT beer has so much more body. Oh, by the way, the Midcoast, if you haven't watched the brew day, was just ale malt and just crystal malt.
Yeah.
That was it. So 11.2 kilos of ale, 800 grams of crystal, which is like 1.6 pounds, 1.5 pounds. Anyway, because it was such a simple grain bill, which I have loved in the past, but tasting that at the same time as tasting something with so much body makes this feel really weak. But if we had this on its own, you wouldn't have said that.
If you had this on your own, it's still a good beer. It's a solid beer. But like, we're comparing here. This is beer battles. This is beer battles, man. There's a winner and there's a loser.
Bloody beer.
I
lost. Chat won.
Oh,
I'm a big enough man to admit it. Yeah, the ChatGPT won.
We're gonna have like a robot arm, like
just knock it out. How you can superimpose. But yeah, no. So the ChatGPT, I actually haven't spoken about the flavor aside from body and stuff. There's this huge fruity punch. There's a lot of citrus coming through, kind of leaning towards like orange zest citrus as opposed to lemon citrus. And there's kind of this is it berries? Is it berry? I want to say that it's like berries, like wild berries. Like not raspberries and not like blueberries. It's like wild berries. Like when you get like mixed berries for a smoothie, it's like that. It's like that big boom of like sweet berry fruitiness with like the orange citrus and with all that. It's not passion fruit. It's not. It's kind of like a tropical juice, I guess. That's that kind of flavor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pineapple. There's pineapple in it. That's what that citrus is.
It's solid.
Yeah. Super fruity and really, really well balanced by the grain body. And I think that this all ties together so well, actually because the alcohol is so high. I think the high alcohol helps
this is
bring it together.
8.2?
8.3, I think. Corrections up here if I'm wrong, but pretty sure this one is 8.3. Very boozy. So IPAs typically sit around 7 to 7.5%. 8.3 is pretty up there. A lot of double IPAs or like imperial IPAs are above the 8%.
It does not taste like it. It does not taste like it.
It's the grain bill. The grain bill with the bitterness.
That's crazy.
With the booze is all in this holy trinity of balance.
The ChatGPT does have virtual balls.
It has big virtual balls.
You can't see them, but they're there. They're there.
They are there. It worked. I'm sad.
This is a part of the fun.
You know what? I think this.
Here comes.
I think this calls for a rematch. I think it calls for a rematch. I want to pick another beer. I want to pick another beer style and get ChatGPT.
We gotta let them comment a recipe and do
you guys,
a battle with them. That'll be.
By
fun.
the way, yeah,
That'll
that's another thing that we wanted to do. We want to do more of this kind of 3-part series beer battle stuff where we brew our beer, brew someone else's beer, and then do the tasting video. So if any of you have a beer recipe you want us to brew and put it on camera, send it. Just send it. Send it over. We'll brew it. We'll brew our version. Then we'll do beer battles head to head.
Yeah.
As you can see, we're going to do like blindfolds and shit so that it is unbiased.
Yeah.
But damn it! I'm so annoyed I lost. I'm very competitive. Got beat by bot.
All in the fun of brewing, man.
Anyway, I do want to do a rematch against ChatGPT though at some point. You guys tell me though, what beer style would you like us to go head to head against ChatGPT with again?
Yeah.
Pale ale, Helles lager, some random.
Our Helles, bro.
Our Helles was pretty good. Some random beer that like like a Belgian quad or something, which I've actually never made before personally. Like just tell us what you might want the robot to make and us to make, and then we'll whack it into ChatGPT and do this all over again. Because I definitely want to do this again.
It's been a fun series. It's been fun.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very
fun.
fun.
Love drinking beer, man.
The body though. The body.
He's not gonna let this go.
The body.
He's not gonna let this go for a whole week.
You know what?
This is good. It's gonna make him become a better brewer.
It's not a fair contest actually because the grain bill is so overpowering. It overpowers your taste buds after drinking this and then going back to this. I should have tasted my one first. That's why.
Here comes the. He's trying to justify it.
The excuses. Damn it. Anyway, guys, we've rambled on long enough. Actually, hang on. We haven't done a rating. What would you rate ChatGPT as an IPA out of 10? Don't bother with mine. Mine lost. Rate the winner.
Rate the winner? It is a 9. And a 9 out of 10? I mean, what is a 10? What is a 10 out of 10?
A 10 out of a 10 is when you just like, this is the best beer of its style I've ever tasted. It cannot be made better. It's not the best IPA ever, but it's very damn good. Yeah. I would give it a 9. And I would absolutely give it a 9. No questions asked. Like, I would be very happy to drink this at a pub. I've had much worse IPAs than this at a pub that I paid far too much for. I would be happy paying $15 for a schooner of this.
Yeah, for sure.
No
and
issues.
This is 8.3%.
Oh yeah, it's 8.3%. Oh,
that's $20 in a cup. Yeah. In Australia.
Yeah, especially in Sydney. All for the love of home brewing.
I know.
Anyway, guys, I'm not going to drink mine anymore because I'm a sore loser.
I'll drink yours. I'll finish yours.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for sticking around. Any other ideas, thoughts, questions? Let us know. We didn't finish with the challenge. I'm just realizing.
We don't need to finish with a challenge.
Next time.
Next time.
Nah, it's fine. Next time.
You guys didn't suggest a challenge. Oh no, they did.
They did. We just haven't done it. Sorry.
Next time. It's been a long video.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave you guys go. Catch you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It cheated,
It cheated.
It cheated, mate.
It did cheat. It looked through thousands of recipes. I didn't look through thousands of recipes. I looked through here.
You got the mind
cheated.
of a human.
It cheated.
You're just a monkey, mate. You literally lost genetics. You don't have hair.
You know what? It cheated. That's all that matters.
The AI wins.
I'm not salty. I'm not upset. You're upset. Go to my room.
Leave, mate.